Hello everyone, welcome to the course on computer networks. Today's topic of discussion is about the routing. Myself, Mr. Ankit Khandelwal, Assistant Professor from the Department of Faculty of Computer Engineering, Purnima University. The contents of this lecture are, first of all, we will see the introduction about the routing and how the routers are used. Then we will see how the router works in the two different networks there. Then we will see some practical understanding using Cisco Packet Tracer. There we will take two local area networks and we will connect them using the two routers. The objective of this lecture is to provide in-depth understanding of the routers, their working principles, and their practical implementation using Cisco Packet Tracer. So by the end of this lecture, the students will gain the knowledge of how the router functions within a network, their role in directing data traffic, and hands-on experience in configuring and troubleshooting routers there. After completing this lecture, the students will be able to understand the importance of routers in the networking. They will be able to explain how the router works, that is, how to do the IP addressing, how the routing table is done, and the process of forwarding data packets between the networks by using a static routing method. They will also have a gain practical experience using Cisco Packet Tracer, how to configure and simulate router functionalities in virtual networking environment. So first of all, let us discuss what is routing. So routing is the process of selecting the best path for data packets to travel from the source to the destination across a network. Let us suppose we have two networks and these two networks are not at the same place. So the data from one of the device, that is one of the node, can send the data to another node of another network by using the router only. Routers are networking devices that operate at the network layer, that is layer number 3 of the open system interconnection. As we know that the network layer deals with the IP address, so routers require the IP address for moving the packets from one network to another network. Now, this is how the router is there. So router is having a ports, and these ports are used to connect the different nodes to the router there. Now let us see how the router works there. So routers are, as I told you, that routers uses logical addressing such as IP address, okay, to make forwarding decisions there. So when a router receives a packet, it examines the destination IP address and consult its routing table. The important part is there, the router is having a routing table there. The router is having a routing table to determine the best path to reach that destination there. Now, router uses dynamic routing protocols or static routing protocols to learn and maintain information about network topology and available path. So it is also having its own memory in which it stores the IP addresses of the networks, so that in future when the packets are received by that particular router, they can travel it from that particular router to the another router there. So they forward packets between different networks or sub networks based on the destination IP address there. So now let us look on the concept of the router there. So this is the router which we are going to use. This is the local area network 1, in which the IP address which we are using for the network is 10.10.0.0 and the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Then we have another local area network in which the network address is 192.168.1.0 and subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. So these two networks are different. So the nodes within this particular network can only communicate with the help of the switch. Similarly, in the LAN 2, the nodes can only communicate with them with the help of switch there. Now, if any node of the LAN 1 wants to communicate with the node of the LAN 2, then it is not possible with the help of the switch there, because switch only works in the local area network. Now, to transfer the packet, that is data from this LAN 1 to the LAN 2, we require a router there. So we will connect this particular network to the router, one of the port of the router. Similarly, we will connect the LAN 2 with the another port of the router there. Now, let us see, there is a one node. This is one node which we are using in this network. And there is another node which we are using in the LAN 2. Now, let us suppose the IP address which we are providing to this laptop is 10.10.0.2 and the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Similarly, we will provide an IP address to this PC3, which is in the LAN 2, that is 192.168.1.2, and the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Okay, so we have assigned the IP address. Now, this laptop wants to send the packet from this local area network 1 to the local area network 2. So this laptop can only send the packet to this LAN 2 when we are using this router. So this router is having two ports. To these two ports, these two LANs are connected. So we have to assign the IP address to this port and IP address to this port. As this port is connected to the local area network 1, that's why the IP address to this port, we will provide 10.10.10.0.1 there. And similarly, the port address of this particular port will be 192.168.1.1 because this particular port lies in the local area network 2 there. Now, these two IP addresses, that is 10.10.0.1 and 192.168.1.1, they are being used as a gateway address. Okay, so we are going to use them as a gateway address. What is gateway address? Any packet from this local area network 1 can go to the another network through this gateway. As let us take an analogy. If I want to go outside of my home, then I have to use the main outdoor gate for going out of my house. Similarly, the packet which is going to be from the LAN 1, that has to go to this particular IP address, which is acting as a gateway for this local area network. And similarly, if any packet wants to go out from its local area network to another network, then the default gateway which we are going to use is 192.168.1.1 there. So we will provide these IP addresses to the PCs and the laptop there. So the default gateway for this laptop will be 110.10.0.1 and the default gateway for this PC3. This PC3 will be 192.168.1.1 dot 1 there. Okay. In this way, we will use the router. Now further, as I told you, we are going to assign the IP address, that is 10.10.0.1 to this port and 192.168.1.1 to this port. After this, what we are going to do, we are going to send a packet. So the packet, first of all, will be delivered to this port, and from this port to this port, and from this port it will enter into the local area network to the destination, this particular destination there. Now let us see the concept of how to do the routing there. The same network architecture we are going to take in the Cisco Packet Tracer for the practical learning of the routing there. So in this particular slide, what we are doing, we have taken two local area networks, that is LAN 1 and LAN 2. These are the two local area network. One of the nodes in this particular local area network and another node in this local area network, we are going to send the data from this LAN 1 to LAN 2. Here we are using two routers. Now look on this particular thing. The LAN 1 is having the network address 192.168.1.0 and the default subnet mask is 255.255.255.0 because this is class C IP address. And in the local area network, we are using the class B network, that is 172.16.0.0 is the network address, and 255.255.0.0 is the default subnet mask there. Now, what is the concept over here? The packet, when it will be delivered from this PC, it will first go to this port. Okay, so we have to assign the port address to this port, which is going to be act as a default gateway for this PC. Let us suppose this is PC1. So we are going to assign the default gateway. So the IP address for this particular port will be 192.168.1.1. Okay, so we are connecting this particular port to this network there. Now we are similarly going to connect LAN 2 with this port, and this port is being connected to the LAN 2. So any packet which is going to be out from the LAN 2 will first of all go to this port address. That's why the IP address for this particular port will be 172.16.0.1 there. Okay, so these two IP addresses are the default gateway for all the PCs in the LAN 1, and this particular IP address, that is 172.16.0.1, is going to be the default gateway for all the PCs in the LAN 2. Now we are going to connect these two ports, that is the remaining two ports of this PCs, with the copper straight through copper crossover cable there. Okay, so we are going to use a crossover cable over here because the two nodes are of the same type. Now see, these are again the port networks. So what we are doing, see the concept over here. I have this one area, this is city 1. Okay, this is city 1. We have another node in the city 2. Okay, the particular node from this city 1 is going to send the data to this city 2, but the data will flow from another city there. Okay, city 3. Okay, so in between city 1 and city 3 there is one router. Okay, this is router 1, and between city 3 and city 2 there is another router, that is R2. Okay, so what we are doing, we are providing an address of this port and address of this port, which are going to be act as the gateway for all the nodes in the city 1 and for all the nodes in the city 2. Further, you will see that these two ports of router 1 and router 2 are in the city 3 there, which means they are in the local area network 3. Now, what we are taking? We are taking the local area network address 10.1.0.0 for this LAN 3 there, and the subnet mask will be 255.0.0.0 because this is class A. So here we have taken a class C IP address. Here we have taken the class B IP address, and here we have taken the class C IP or class A IP address. Okay, class A IP address. So in this way, so when we are going to use the Cisco Packet Tracer, we have to do the configuration in this manner only for these two routers there. Now, these two ports will be assigned the IP addresses. These IP addresses will be 10.1.0.1 for this port, and for this port will be 10.1.0.2. After doing this, all this thing, what we are going to do, we are going to have a routing table. So we will see that in the Cisco Packet Tracer, how we are going to route the packet from one network to another network there. So let us go for the practical approach of how to use the routers. So we will switch on to Cisco Packet Tracer. We are now on the Cisco Packet Tracer. We will take first of all two routers. I am taking the router number 2811. Two routers we are taking. Then we are going to take a switch. So switch number 2960 for this and 2960 for this one. Now we are going to use the PCs over here. These are the PCs. Let us take, I am taking two PCs over here. That is these two PCs and two PCs for this particular network there. Okay, this is over here. So we are going to connect these particular PCs to the switch first of all. Okay, we are going to use the straight through cable. We have connected them. Then we will connect the switch to the router. Okay, then these two PCs, that is PC2, will be connected to this switch, and this will be connected to this switch PC3. Again, the router, second router will be connected to this switch, and we will connect these two routers there. We are going to connect these two routers. Now see, here we have used the crossover cable because the two AND nodes are of the same devices, same type, that is routers, and here we have used the crossover cable. Now look, we use the switch for the local area network to connect the multiple devices. So this is the network that is which we are saying local area network 1. Okay, this is now local area network 1. These two are okay. Similarly, we have another local area network. This is another local area network which we are using. Okay, this we are using over here. This is local area network 2. So now what we have to do, first of all, we will assign the IP address to all these port there. Okay, so let me tell you that I am going to have an IP address, network address of this particular LAN, that is 192.168.1.0, and the network address for these two PCs is 172.16.1.0. 1.0 there. Okay. Now, what we have to do, we have to assign the IP addresses. Let us assign the IP address to this PCs. Okay. So this is the PC which we are going to assign the IP address. Let me choose the mouse over here. First of all, okay. So we are going to assign the IP addresses. Let me show you. These three networks are, this is local area network 1, local area network 1, LAN 1. The IP address is 192.168.1.0. Okay, this is that. And this is local area network 2. The IP address is 192.168.2.0 there. Okay, the two PCs here, the two PCs which are used, the IP address is 192.168.1.2, and the IP address of this PC is 192.168.1.3 there. Okay, similarly for this PC we are having a IP address 192.168.2.2, and to this PC 192.168.2.3 there. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to assign the IP addresses to all these PCs there. So before that, what we have to do, we have to assign the IP addresses to these routers. So we will hope over the wire, and now you will see that these two PCs, these two routers are connected to this fast Ethernet port 0. So we will assign the IP address 192.168.1.1 to this port address, that is fast Ethernet 0 by 0, and we will on this port status on there. Okay, then we will assign the IP address to this fast Ethernet 0 by 1, that is 192.168.3.1 there. Okay, and similarly we are going to assign the IP addresses to these to this router, that is router 1 there, to the fast Ethernet 0 by 0, 192.168.2.1, and port status going to be on, and to this fast Ethernet 0 by 1, 192.168.3.2, port status is on there. Now see over here, what we have done, we have assigned the IP addresses to these routers. This is the port, this is the port over here. Okay, so what we are doing, we are assigning the IP address to this port 192.168.1.1. To this port we are assigning 192.168.3.1, because this is local area network 3 there. Okay, to this port we are assigning 192.168.3.2, and to this port we are assigning 2.168.3.1 there. So what we have done, these two IP address, that is 192.168.1.1 and 192.168.2.1 are going to be the default gateway for those local area network 1 and for the local area network 2. So let us see, in the IP configuration we have set the default gateway 192.168.1.1 there. Okay, and over here in this we have assigned the IP address 192.168.2.1 here. Okay, this is we have done over here till now. Now what we have to do, to transfer the packet from this local area network 1 to this local area network 2, we have to assign the routing table with the root. So we will go to the router 0, and in the router 0 we will go on the routing, and routing on, we are doing a static routing, so we will click on the static routing. What we are going to do, we are putting the network, so the packet is going from local area network 1 to the local area network 2. So here the address of the local area network 2 will become 192.168.2.1, 168.2.0. Okay, and mask will be 255.255.255.0. And the next hope is this one. This is the next stop, because when the packet will go out from this router, this is the first point where it has to stop. So the next hope is will be 192.168.3.2. We are going to add it. So this is now the routing of the packet from this local area network 1 to the local area network 2 there. Similarly, we are going to do this routing in this router. We will go on the routing, and in the routing we will go on the static. Okay. Now the packet will go from local area network 2 to the local area network 1. So the network address will be 192.168.1.0, and the mask will be 255.255.255.0. Next hope in this case will be 192.168.3.1 there. 192.168.3.1 here. We will add it. So now we have do the static routing. Now we will see the packet is going from one network to another network or not. Okay. So let us check over here. After doing all this thing, let me erase all this thing over here. Okay, let me first of all do the erasing. So we will now going to check whether the packet is going. So I am going to take a PDU. This is the PDU over here. Let us see whether this is going to this router or not. It is successful from the source to the destination, that is router 0. The packet is going from this point to this point now. Now we will check whether the packet is going from this particular point to this router or not. So here it is successful there. Now it is successful. So now the packet will go from this point to this point very easily there. So it is first time failed. Now in the second attempt, let us see, it will go from this packet, this PC to this PC. Successful. This has been successful over here. Okay. So in this way, the router works. The routing table is done. What we have done, let us summarize this as follows. We have taken two local area networks, that is local area network 1, local area network 1 with an IP address 192.168.1.0, local area network 2 with an IP address 192.168.2.0. Okay, we have assigned the IP addresses to all the PCs within these networks, Then we have put an IP address over here. This is first port, that is fast ethernet port 0x0 of this router, where we have assigned the IP address 192.168.1.1. This is the default gateway of all the PCs for this network there, because packet will go from this particular port there. Then here we have assigned the default gateway 192.168.2.1 because this particular port lies in the local area network 2. Now in between these local area network 1 and local area network 2, this is local area network 3 there. Okay, we have assigned the IP address to this port 192.168.3.1, and to this port we have assigned 192.168.3.2. After doing all this thing, we have assigned the routing table. For that we have click on the router, and we will go on the routing tab here, and we are gone to the static, fill all these three things, and we have added to this particular memory. So in this way, how the this is the way how the router is working. So let us come back to the lecture now. So we have seen this network here. So In this lecture, what we have explored, the fundamental role of routers in the networking, how they function to direct data between networks, and their practical implementation using Cisco Packet Tracer. We learned about IP addressing, routing tables, and routing techniques such as static routing. Through hands-on simulation, students gained valuable experience in configuring and troubleshooting routers, reinforcing their understanding of network connectivity and performance optimization. By mastering these concepts, students are now better equipped to work with routers in real-world networking environment. This knowledge serves as a strong foundation for more advanced networking topics, ensuring a deeper understanding of network infrastructure and communication protocols here. Thank you. These are the references which you can use for understanding the more concept about the routers and switches there. Thank you. Thank you.